So occasionally I talk to investors and they think they don't have the cash to invest in alternatives. But the truth is, they do. It's just sitting in accounts they've never thought about using to invest in alternative assets. So today, what I want to do is show you six different account options that I see my investors use and I myself use to fund the deals they're doing inside my Smart Flex Fund. Starting which what I would say is probably the a surprising one, and then we're going to end with probably the most common one. And in the middle, there's going to be some that you've never heard of. So first, please understand this is not investment advice. I've lost plenty of money in real estate and other investments, so you probably shouldn't even be listening to me. By the way, my name is Kent. I love investing. I love doing this type of stuff. But what I'll say is I do this so that hopefully it'll spark an idea in you and you can go take action and start looking at some of these tangible assets that you should be investing in. So, disclaimer out of the way, that being said, let's look at these six different options you have when deciding where you're going to invest from. And number one, this one might be a little bit um, of a surprise. How about that? Health savings account. Now, a lot of people have these through their work, but these can be self-directed. I know we're not going to go deep into that, which means you can invest in real estate, private credit, oil and gas, whatever you want, mutual funds. You can do all that. The cool thing is it's triple tax advantage. You're going to get a deduction going in, and that money's going to grow tax free, and you're going to get to take it out free for medical expenses. But the drawback is these are smaller, but we're starting to get some deals in the Smart Flex Fund where you can invest in debt. You can do short-term note deals with your HSA, and you can grow it way faster than it just sitting there in the account in cash. Okay. Option two, these are trusts and family LLCs. Don't need that. I had my first investor come in with this recently. These are multi-generational, powerful tools, ways to structure investments. I work with families who invest through the family LLC or a trust, and it easily passes down to the next generation. Okay. Cash flowing assets, they don't have to lose any control with this. They're controlling it all the way. It's a great way to keep all your investments under one roof if you have multiple family members who want to pull their money together and invest together. So that's something another way you can look at it. Now we're going to get into some of the more familiar ones, but this one's interesting. A solo 401k. Okay? So if you have a side gig, you're self-employed, or you own your own business with no full-time employees, this one is one of the best kept secrets in investing. Okay? You do have to have your own side gig or something like that, but you can contribute way more than an IRA using one of these things. Also, you're able to avoid UBIT tax, which is another thing we can go into later on leveraged real estate. It's usually way faster to move money in these things compared to your self-directed IRAs. I've had investors fund large investments using their solo 401ks. These are good for multifamily things that are using debt. You don't have to worry about the UBIT. And they're not touching their personal cash. They're growing this inside, and the reason they do it, it's tax free upon completion of the deal. So a cousin to this, option four, is just your standard self-directed IRA. Now that could be a Roth or it could be a traditional. This is where most people's money's sitting. They have money sitting in an old 401k from an old job. You can roll that 401k over into an IRA, a self-directed IRA, convert it to a Roth, go ahead and pay the taxes. But it does take 2 to 4 weeks to roll these things over and get them into the right custodian's hands. You can't leave this where it's at more than likely and do it. So if we've got a deal coming up and you're thinking about investing, these need a runway to get them done. Okay. Option five. and this one may surprise you, or you may have no idea where this is coming from. Infinite banking is one of my personal pet peeves. I love infinite banking. I've used it for well over a decade, almost 15 years now. And what you do is you invest from your own bank. If you've heard of becoming your own banker, I like doing that. It's not for everybody, but a properly structured whole life policy allows you to borrow against that, keeps your money compounding inside the policy, and then you go get a double advantage by investing it in an alternative. I've had investors, me personally, using this for my oil and gas investments. This is not tax-free money, but borrowing the money is. So there's a lot of things you can do with it. But some of these things you need to preserve tax advantages, and you do it with this kind of money. And option 6, of course, is the old standby. You can come into any deal I do through your bank account. Okay? And you're probably thinking, oh, why would I do that? Well, you're going to get tax advantages by investing taxed money. So, this is liquid money that you probably have. It may be sitting there. There's no custodian involved. There's no delays. And if you want in on our next deal and it's funding quickly, this is the quickest path to get the money there. You don't have to be, tied up with these. All these are an option. Okay. I want you to realize that you're probably not going to have all of these accounts. You're not going to have all of them, but I have several of my investors that have 2 or 3 of these. Okay. And they come at these investments from different angles. If it's a tax advantageous thing, they need tax breaks, they're going to have to come from probably these 2 areas, because these 2 allow growth to be untaxed, but there's no tax advantages. Okay. The growth of the money. So I love jumping on the phone and figuring out where you should attack this from. I do this. I walk through the details of this on calls with investors every day. Another good place to start is to watch my master class. If you'll just click the link below, you can probably get to that real quick, or I'll send you the link to that if you'll comment. And also, if you'd like a summary sheet of these and the advantages and what kind of deals, I didn't go into that on this video, but that will help you as well. But now you know at least 6 places, and there are a few others that you can start investing from. And then you know what the drawbacks are. That sheet will have the drawbacks and things like that. But these are where you can invest from. It's going to help you get your money off Wall Street into some tangible assets. And the type of assets we're talking about: apartment buildings, mobile home parks, self-storage facilities, marinas, private debt investments. Maybe you want to fund some guys that are fixing and flipping houses. Maybe you want to do some hard money loans. Those are great places to invest from, and these are some of the vehicles you can use to get there. Okay, so I hope something here sparked an idea for you, or maybe gave you a thought to say, man, I really can do this from that account, or I've got that money sitting there and I haven't put it to work, and it's just sitting there and I really don't have control over it. I'd love to jump on a call with you and help you design a portfolio that's actually gaining and treading ground and gaining, so that you can start knocking out some of those goals you have for that early retirement or for that better retirement. Love infinite banking because it allows you to take some risks that you probably never would have taken had you not had this safety net. That's why I go there first for all my investments. And I also have at least 4 of these. So don't have them all. And I've been doing this for a long time. So again, hope you got a great idea from this. Let's talk about this and put it into action.